like even with communists, if you were more of a tanky, if you're more of a Stalinist, you go up here. You want a big central government. I don't like that. So when people call me, if people call me a tanky, I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm more of a libertarian mindset. I want anarchism. I'm more towards anarchism. Anarchism doesn't mean chaos, by the way. A lot of theory needs to be discussed here because a lot of people don't know what these things mean.
Yeah.
So like on that scale, I'm like all the way here because I'm not necessarily for full. I'm almost for full, but but I don't want a big central government. So I wouldn't actually be a communist in that sense. So there's a lot of more nuance to this. And on the right, it's a whole other thing. You have the libertarians who are like the Ayn Rand libertarians, but they're also, they're very for no government, but at the same time, they're very conservative in their policies. So the line is always a four-way type of graph, not like a left-right
Right,
thing.
yeah, it is. And as Jackie Pagao says, how do you guys deal with the right-wing family members? I keep trying to find middle ground, but it's getting harder all the time. Actually, it's become easy for me because we found peace and happiness in making fun of Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and attacking establishment Democrats because they hate establishment Democrats. However, we start going into areas where we disagree, whatnot. But, that is the thing. The first thing to do is to not demonize them for their thoughts. And some of their thoughts are really just so different than a lot of ours. They had a lot of family members on the right, Kevin Kissinger. Remember when he goes, stop trying to argue with that uncle at Thanksgiving about global warming. He's never going to believe in climate change. However, if we approach it from a monetary point of view, a fact that we don't have to go at this libertarian mindset, we don't have to go out and spread imperialism, we can bring that shit home, then we'll find common ground. But the first thing to do is not to demonize, even if they are completely wrong. And I think my mom is completely wrong on certain situations. But I understand why a lot of people kind of matriculate to the right because the hypocrisy of the left has been so just the hypocrisy. Like the ideology of the right, you might not agree with it, but that's who they are. They're right-wing Christian nuts who feel that they have a right to, whatever when it comes to their ideologies on the right. The left, the establishment, the political left tells you one thing and then turns around and does another thing. And that's why it's like, the left versus right nowadays, it really doesn't bear arms anymore because the left really doesn't have representation in government nowadays.
Well, the left doesn't have representation. The Democrats are the ones that turn around and stab you in the back. Again, to make sure we're separating
left anymore,
between
right?
Democrats and Republicans, and then like actual people who are on the left who actually want, because even I have friends who are on the left who literally just can't hear somebody else who has a different opinion.
Yeah,
and that is a problem, I think, with the actual left, because they can't even talk to somebody. And like, I have family members who voted for Trump, and you agree with them on the fact that they hate Hillary Clinton, that they don't believe in Russiagate, and it's all fine and dandy until you get to immigration and until you get to certain things that they have where they are flat out racist. And that's a huge problem with me because I just do not understand how that works in your mind. I just don't get it.
They define it and justify it through their nationalism. It's not so much, it's like, oh, they're the racists. We're Americans. We need to take care of ourselves first. They can't come here from these shithole countries. And you know what I always find is like, okay, a lot of these people on the right, they don't understand that it's their government that caused that problem in the first place. So instead of trying to get it from this compassionate kind of point of view, well, like, you're not being compassionate, you need to be compassionate for these people. I was going to say, okay, you don't want people to come here, then how about we stop interfering in their country and they stop coming here? You know what I'm saying? That's the way, well, maybe we shouldn't. I'm like, exactly. And then I show them the money that is spent to freaking turn these countries upside down for natural resources, and you can really shed some light to that situation. It's like, hey, man, if you say we shouldn't interfere with other countries, then let's not interfere. But they're interfering and they're not telling you, and they're doing it behind your back.
I mean, I think at this point, Donald Trump, a lot of people voted for him because he was a non-interventionist. He was going to drain the swamp. All those things just didn't turn out to be true. Obviously, he's not, he didn't do what Obama has done yet. But at the same time, those reasons for voting for him, if you were voting for him for the anti-establishment aspect, those aren't really they're not really holding up right now. People still are trying to say he's anti-establishment, he's anti-military intervention, and that's just not the case.
Who's that?
There's a lot of people out there still trying to cling on to that he's at least, he's
Obama?
No, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Oh,
yes.
Really? Oh my God, Jesus! It's like the same thing.
It's
no,
dude.
no, not
a
at
lot
all.
of the different opinions comes into play when it's a difference in values. 'Cause
Yeah.
everyone values different things, right?
Right.
So I don't know what it would be on the right. Maybe it's like I value having America first or something, you know, or
They always do that.
or it's I value our flag and our nation and stuff. So, but like on the left, or you know, or maybe our left,
Yeah.
it's compassion for human beings
Yeah.
that
Well,
we value the most.
They always produce these false dichotomies. Oh, we got to take care of a veteran before we take care of a foreigner, an immigrant. Why do we even have to have that fucking choice? How about we not take care of the oligarchs? We take care of them both. You know what I'm saying? They always make these false dichotomies.
How about we take care of veterans by not sending them to war. Which is a whole other
in
thing.
the first place.
I mean, and then you have some people on the right saying, "Oh, well, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you shouldn't be homeless. Homeless people are homeless because they're lazy and they're drug addicts." Well, but then you're completely not taking care of your troops. You're not supporting your veterans, because the majority of the people who are homeless are ex-veterans. Why? Because they have PTSD. They have many. They come back with drug addiction. They come back with problems. This isn't like, we're not making this up. These are facts.
Yeah.
So my issue with the right is that they don't even look at facts anymore when it comes to, like, it's contradicting. You're contradicting yourself. Let's get, you know, we don't have money for welfare queens. We literally give all our money to corporations. This is why, and that is what I don't like to be thrown in when they throw everybody in on the left as the Democrats, because I hate the Democrats probably more than they hate the Democrats.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Much.
That's what I tell Republicans. We hate the Democrats more than you. By the way, Crumb Son My Bed. Okay, Crumbs on My Bed. He said, do you think we will get to the point where we have to start wearing riot gear and organize like Hong Kong? Can I answer that one first, fam?
Yeah,
Let me just say this first of all. Well, we won't have to. We won't have the chance because we're not funded by the NED.
Yeah.
We're not funded by the fucking CIA. And if you don't know what Hong Kong is, I'm going to explain it to you really quick. Hong Kong is a pro-CIA proxy war where the NED and the CIA, because China is now our geopolitical enemy, are pushing unrest in Hong Kong, hopefully stirring up Muslim people in Yin Yang who are being persecuted, they're saying, for their Wahhabist ties that are funded from the Saudi government, which is essentially funded by us. So this is a totally different situation when you talk about their rioters, their protesters, whatever. Do they have problems in Hong Kong? Austerity problems. They should be pissed off at their British fucking colonial rules and their the way they do things. They shouldn't be mad at Beijing, but once again, they're being twisted and they're being funded by the CIA and the NED. Not
and
good.
It doesn't mean that some people there weren't for the protest organically. It just means that people have funded and taken advantage and co-opted it, which is completely different. And I hate Hong Kong being used in a way with what's happening here, because what's happening here is organic. What happened over there was not.
It was funded.
It was funded.
NED.
We're not getting
kids.
These kids aren't being funded. You don't see them with heavily armed riot gear. Like people are starting to get that stuff because they don't want to be shot by the police. They don't want their eye blown off like we've seen. They don't want they don't want to be shot in the chest. So people are starting to do that. But there's no such thing as like us being funded by George Soros. These protests aren't funded by George Soros. I'm telling you, at least in Los Angeles. No. That's not happening.
Well, I mean, and we should get back to that too eventually one day and stuff like that, because we could talk about that's a little bit something more nuanced about what Black Lives Matter is all about and what they should be about for some people believe, and
I'd
how
like
do
to
we
have that
accept
conversation
things.
too with somebody that is Black too.
Well,
be here,
I got some people.
Sure.
I got some people on deck that I met at those protests that I got their names and numbers to invite them on here and talk, because I dislike the police department as a whole. From a libertarian point of view, as far as I'm concerned, they are the arm of the oligarchs. And they don't give a shit at the end of the day. Are they racially motivated? Of course they are. Because once again, the whole system in which they pick people and stuff.
The system was set up that way.
It was totally set up that way. But furthermore, that system is also set up too for us to be fighting against each other, so we won't join together. So I would love to see libertarians and Black Lives Matter marching hand in hand, even though their reasons for crushing the police department are different. They still want to lower the police department. And the next question says, when do you think the protests will be about our needs like healthcare, UBI, and all that good stuff? Well, once again, what coalition are we joining? If we joined Black Lives Matter and libertarians, let's just say for argument's sakes, they can go after prison reform. They can go after defunding the police because both parties want to seriously defund the police office. They want to take away the prison industrial complex. The libertarians hate it too.
And decriminalizing drugs.
Exactly. So, decriminalizing marijuana, that's one of the top things for libertarians. You know how many people of color will be removed from prison if we got that done? So that's where we have to find common ground, and I am yet to seeing that, fam. I understand that a lot of people are getting out there in solidarity, but it still needs to be more if we're going to take the oligarch down.
So when do you think the protests will be about our needs, like healthcare, UBI, and all that good stuff? I say it's coming this summer.
So here's my problem with that, though, Pasta. Like, in order for that to happen, there has to be an accountability from the libertarian part that we are with you in your plight against racial injustice and we believe in you. Because if that doesn't happen, they're not going to, people are going to be like, well, you're just fighting for your own thing and you don't really care about where we're coming from. Otherwise it just comes off as like condescending.
I get that. But what's more important now? That we take down the oligarchy together and then work on our differences after? Or do we have to work on our... Because here's the thing. If we settled our differences, it's still not going to take out the oligarch. Right. You know as well as I do, if we were all one color, they would probably fucking try to separate us from the size of our ears or our noses. They would try to exploit... The rich will always try to exploit the poor no matter what. So understanding that their biggest tool is to keep us divided, we need to make that bridge together. And I've seen a couple people, I've gotten some numbers. I was talking to a gentleman this morning, Chino, the innovator, and he was telling me what he was saying and he was like, I love you people for coming here. Thank you so much. And he was making that bridge and building that bridge. And I was speaking to him this morning, and he has that mentality of like, we have to find a way to bring ourselves together. And it's both sides that got to work on this to find a way to come together. I understand where you're coming from. And I was for that at one point, but you know what? That hasn't worked. And we have to come together with our common goal, not just the common reasons, but our common goal. Talk about the reasons, understand so it doesn't happen again. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that we have to find out. We have to work with because we can either be right or we can get, what's the word? We can be right or we can cause an argument and just argue about why we should be doing stuff all the time. When the common goal at the end is the same. It's
more of just like an acceptance of like, okay, this is our plight, though. It's almost like acknowledgement. That's all they want is acknowledgement. Yeah. And if you can't do that, then you're not going to get their support. And I wouldn't be supportive of somebody that can't even acknowledge my plight and what I'm going through. So it's like, you got to acknowledge it. You don't have to agree 100% with where like the whole, like that it's only this and that, but you do have to acknowledge it, because I agree that the oligarchs, the 1% versus the people is the biggest issue, but you're not going to get people on your side when you just go there and you're not acknowledging that. I'm not saying you have to fix it first, but you do have to acknowledge it, which is it's like the whole question's always like, racism is an arm, a racial divide is an arm of the oligarchy, but it's there, it's happened. We can't pretend it's not there. So that's the situation, is that we have to make sure it's acknowledged.
I hear you, and I think a lot of people from the movements, though, once again, we talk about the people we knew. They don't understand imperialism. They don't understand what's going on, and
it's hypocritical.
Once we just got to keep talking, and we got to find a way to all come together. And I was set straight this morning by somebody, and somebody told me, said like, he understands that you're looking for solutions, you're looking to unite, but when if somebody is upset, a group is upset for a reason, you have to give them the space and listen to them. And I agree completely, and I'm glad. He even said, like, I usually agree with you, Pasta, but I agree with Fiorella on this one with the kneeing shit. Like, nope, like you can't beautify or lift anybody up, any politicians, any police, because they're gonna only let you down. So I hear you, and I'm just looking for solutions, and we'll have more conversations. Okay, somebody's next question. Fiorella, I'm sure you know about Cubans from Miami. No, I do. Have you ever explained to them that they are not
such
white?
mansplaining?
No,
right
I'm
now.
from Southern Florida.
Dude,
you guys are from O-Town.
No, I lived in Miami when I was very little.
Yeah, there was no Cubans from Miami then.
I literally grew up
Cubans
with
from
a
Miami
Cuban babysitter.
Spawned out of the Bernie
Seriously?
movement.
That question was for me.
They are. What's that word?
I don't know. You say it.
I don't know. That's a Latino word.
Mestizos?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are not white. They are mestizos, like most Latinos, because in their mind, I went away. Where's it at? Because in their mind, they really do think they are white, and that's funny. What do you think about that, fam?
I don't think it's just Cubans. I think it's Latin Americans in general. I mean, obviously, everybody's different. Latin Americans are full of people that look entirely different, even within their own families. You're going to find people that look primarily more European. You're going to find people that look more Native American. You're going to find people that look the half and half or whatever. Then you're going to find a lot of African roots in certain countries in the Caribbean, in certain countries up closer like Venezuela, Colombia. Those countries, you're going to see a lot of African roots. African people are everywhere. You're going to find people that look extremely white and that are probably 0% of Native American in certain places. Argentina is one place where a lot of the Germans ran and hid there, and the Nazis, and so you're gonna find that there. I mean, it's hard. It's the same bullshit issue here. It's like, Elizabeth Warren's like, oh, I'm 1/16 Native American, because a lot of Americans grew up thinking like, oh yeah, I'm this much Native American, and da 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 da. It was like a normal thing. I remember growing up and people being like, oh, I'm this much Native American, as if it was like important. And I think if we shouldn't focus on that. I mean, I think we're focused. Latin American is still a very racist continent. I mean, people do get jobs and do, like, your wealth is allocated based on how light your skin is, and how beauty is still very much the Western European aesthetic. If you look more Native American, in a lot of places you're still discriminated against, and that happens even in Latin American populations. And in Cuba, when I was over there, or in Miami, Cubans, a lot of them that are in Cuba that escaped, that are very conservative, that tend to vote Republican, tended to be the more whiter looking Cubans. I mean, they do, and they're more conservative. But if you go back to Cuba and you actually visit the island, you're going to see more African-American looking Cubans, more mestizo type of people. It's just really interesting how that has so much to do with the political aspect of it. Same thing when we were talking about Venezuela, when we were talking about the Venezuelans here versus the Venezuelans there, are in Bolivia too. The Bolivians taking over. I mean, there are all these underlying issues still.
Yeah. Let me just really quick. Somebody says, how do you make a donation? Is there a donation process for ROKFIN? There's not a Super Ray yet, which is the Ray token, but hopefully we'll get one. But you can go over and endorse us for $9.99. Are we on the YouTube too as well now?
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
You can always go over to YouTube and get a super chat over there. Johnny's going to get those and put those aside. Pasta, says Pijman. And Tujazwi just ask, where did the Tara Reid story go? Why are you both not covering it nowadays? Didn't we do something last week?
I literally did.
Whole Mike Tracy
a whole
story
thing with Tina Desiree Berg.
Come on, guys. We were one of the first ones to get on it right after Katie Halper. Yeah. Johnny made an awesome clip with an awesome thing with the thing. We've been talked about it. We've talked about it till the sun comes home, but we have to wait and see what's going to happen with the courts and everything. Yeah. As the election goes along. Yeah. We're not going to let everybody forget about Tara Reid. Please believe in me.
And I stand by Tara Reid personally. That's my personal opinion. I have yet to see evidence that suggests that Joe Biden didn't do this. Yeah. I have seen her entire life be just rummaged through and every ugly thing come out, and I just put myself in her shoes, like, what would happen if I was in her situation. If any other woman that's working class or that's not rich or didn't go to an Ivy League school is put in her situation.
Once again, the hypocrisy. Okay, listen. And whether you believe in what's his name, the Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, right? Mm-hmm. That is a very hard case that was to bring up, whether you believed the defendant or not, the victim or not. It was one of those situations, and the Democrats stood solidly against that, right? With a really hard case to go against. It was years ago, didn't know the location. I'm not saying it's not guilty, but once again, I thought they should have also gone after Kavanaugh for the fact that he's going to vote against Roe v. Wade. They didn't even go near that shit, that he's a theologist. Okay, so they went with that. They lost. Now they have Joe Biden. Now, I'm not saying Joe Biden's guilty or innocent, but guess what? There is damn enough for a case. We have witnesses who say, that she was there at that time. That was a time and a place. They have all the information that is justified to open up a case against Joe Biden, but yet the Democrats are...
Not to mention he has 9 other accusers.
What day goes by that we don't see fucking Joe Biden with his hand around a 13-year-old? Please, it's disgusting. There's more than enough evidence to start open up a case, and yet the Democrats, they don't care. Me Too for them only when it's in their favor.
Yeah.
My religious family sees voting Democrat as literally voting against Jesus. Anthony, don't vote against Jesus. How dare you?
Good thing
Rich
I'm not
Carrera
Catholic.
says, I emailed you guys to come on a show, and I haven't received an email back. Yet
I just emailed him back.
Yes. Please understand, guys, we have a lot of protests going on. It's hectic for us. We're running out to the streets. We're juggling our shows around. I'm sorry I didn't respond back to you, Rich. I didn't even get a chance to look at your videos to see what you do. We will take a look at it. Johnny just hit you back. But please understand, it's a crazy time right now.
Yeah.
We have to document the end of the earth. We have to be there with Convo Couch. Convo Couch here with the last day on earth. We will be there. Let's not forget that one of the cops killed George is an Asian. And what does that tell you? Asians feel superior to black people, and Latinos, in my experience, they feel like they are the model minority. When they all benefit from the system, how come ICE doesn't deport Asians?
Well, I think the better question to ask is more like,
Jesse.
why are we dividing ourselves among who is more or less racist? Everybody can be racist in the sense, but the thing is, like I said, as somebody from a Latino background, Latinos can totally be racist. I mean, Maria Estrada is getting a lot of crap from some people in the Latino community for supporting Black Lives Matter because they feel like, oh, this is our fight. Like, we need immigration reform. We need this. It's like, guys, we can get all of this. Why are you fighting whose cause is more important? We need to stand together. We are all being attacked by the system. And that's why, going back to the other question, when will this happen? When we freaking realize that we need to take it to the next step. Because if we don't, this is just going to be another movement that the establishment Democrats like Obama co-opt, and they take control and they placate and they don't really change anything. So again, I just think it's stupid to get lost in like who's more racist, and that, you know, Asian people, Latino people, they can be racist. Like I said, in Latin America, you know, they still call people, you know, black people by the word, you know, by the N word. I mean it, but it's normal because that's, to them, that's the color, and that's it's they. I mean, seriously, like it's completely different in a way because they were all screwed over by white people from Europe in Latin America, and you know, but there was like that whole like intermixing, whereas over here in the United States and North America, the intermixing between the Native American and the white American did not happen, right? There was like that preservation of whites that happened because the Native Americans were completely killed out. In South America, there's a mestizo race that was, or ethnicity that was created because it was a mixture of all. So like, I just think we get lost in who's this and who's that. Like at this point, we just need to understand that if we are pitted against each other, we're going to continue fighting each other and not fighting the bigger enemy.
That's why I think it's more, at the end of the day, it's actually the solution itself, what we have to do, not so much the differences of opinion, why we should come to that solution, because sometimes we're not going to see eye to eye. And like we talk about libertarians all the time. We make fun of it all the time, but we know how important it is. And it's so tied together to poor people really getting control of the elitist oligarchy power that's really ruling us. And if we don't realize and come together that that's our common enemy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and then not to mention the fact that, though, it is true that the Asian community does tend to be more conservative. And that's something that's reflective
so does the
here.
Indian community now.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I count them as Asian, too. But, like, they're just, I mean, that is, you know, why are Europeans not, they're given visas? Why are more Asian people given visas compared to the Latino? That there is an element to that. I agree. But, I mean, I think we need to, like, look at the bigger picture too.
Johnny, what do you got?
So you're doing the next one. Did you guys cover the question why the protest without a leader?
Where's that? I don't even see that
That
question.
was right under Rich.
You see Pishman going crazy there? You son of a bitch. he's fucking crazy. You love him.
To Jazzy.
Oh yeah, here to Jazwy. To Jazwy R. Why the fuck are the protests without a leader? Occupy Wall Street was dispersed the same way. Leaderless chaos. Same is happening here. Why isn't a leader coming up the ranks and leading the way? These are not revolutions. Move it away. A protest can be quelled down. Revolution cannot be. Revolution needs a leader. Hey, man, I said this before, too, right now. I'm out there looking for the next Fred Hampton. That's what I'm looking for. leader of the Black Panthers, who talked about Bacon's Rebellion, saying once we realize we are together, that they are dividing us up, we win. And anytime anybody's tried to make this movement, you know, Martin Luther King, Poor People's Campaign, Fred Hampton, they get killed. They get killed immediately because that is what I believe is the secret. You know what I'm saying? We got to come together through hell or high water, fam.
I just want to say I think we need to stop looking for leaders. I think we need to stop looking for heroes. I think we need to be our own leaders and heroes, and that is why a lot of these movements are happening organically, and it's chaotic. And I agree, I think we need leaders. I don't think we need one. The moment you have one person like that, just one person, you put it all on that one person, and that's been our mistake. Then the movement dies when they die. We need to have multiple leaders. We need to learn from our mistakes. We need to create different people that have the different Fred Hamptons all over the place, not just one. And that is how we break through this, because otherwise they're just going to kill that one person you invested all your time in, or that one person's going to drop out and endorse Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders. Hello. Yeah. And they're going to, and that's it. And then, no, we need to create more leaders. And the tendency in American politics is to wait for some leader to rescue us. A do ex machina sort of literature trope where you're like, okay, this one hero is just going to come and save the day. Sorry, nobody's going to come save you. You have to save yourselves. And we have to be the ones leading the way. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to disagree a little bit because I believe there has to be multiple leaders, but it has to be kind of like this Russian Stalin, Lenin, multiple people that are brought together.
Stalin was
eventually
Stalin. Yeah. Like, it was all about him. That was the problem.
No, not in the beginning. What's his name? Was killed. They killed off, Stalin killed him off. What's his name? Funny Farm. Lenin, right? Yeah. Right. So, I mean, there was multiple leaders at one point that kind of came together, and then Stalin took the reins and stuff like that. I believe there has to be somebody to come forth to bring it all together, because if we don't have some sort of leaders, then it's going to be just a kind of
I think there needs to be leaders, but
yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying.
One person,
we can't glorify anybody and just lift it up and say that this person has all the shots. Once again, you know what I'm saying? Bernie Sanders was just the face of that movement. We were the movement itself, and we have to remember that.
Do you have something to say, Johnny?
I think it's difficult for a lot of people to become leaders because the system is set up to create followers, not leaders.
Right. Yeah.
The education system, how parents raise their kids. So it really takes a lot of effort for leaders to become, to exist. And so that's what I feel about that.
Did somebody send a picture? I think Carrie Mark said she sent a picture. Right?
Yes.
We're going to take a look, too. Carrie Mark, did you put on that shirt? Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, we have a lot of titles around here, a lot of jobs. One of my jobs is I run the shirt program. One of my favorite things to do. I love getting the shirts. Let's take a look at what we got. Oh, look at that maroon.
Oh, wow.
Look at that maroon, baby. That's Italian red. That's the Italian horns we used to have hanging in our windshield. It was like that color red, maroon. You go,
Italian.
girl.
Maroon looks good on you, Carrie Mark.
It looks
That's
great.
Right.
I love that color. It's wine. It's the color of wine.
All right.
Vino.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the next question. Is racism so important to the oligarchy? If racism is so important to the oligarchy, and this is Edward Morris, why is it that most major corporations will fire employees for making racist remarks, even when those remarks are not directly connected to one's job? Optics.
Optics, but also I mean, you don't want to, it all comes down to optics because you don't want to associate yourself with people that are over here on the spectrum when everybody, the establishment employs this very, very fake sort of identity politics, right? To the establishment, it's like, as long as we hire 5 black people, we don't care if they're conservative, if they're Democrat, if they're, as long as we meet our quota. That's how the Democratic Party operates. That's how the establishment operates. But instead of looking at that, they need to look at why is this person good, et cetera. What does this person bring to the job? Now, do black people and people of color get turned down from jobs compared to white people? Absolutely, 100%. So I understand
just because of their name.
Just because of their name. So I understand the need to make up for it And I understand, I am for that in a sense, like, okay, we should be more inclusive because we haven't been inclusive. But I don't think, like, for instance, that we need to pick a woman president just because she's a woman. If she is somebody like Hillary Clinton, that's going to be awful for women like me.
Sarah Palin?
Because she's not she doesn't care about the working class. It's kind of, it's a touchy subject, but I mean, I think we can actually find a balance between it, in my opinion.
Pijmon said, here's a question. How does it feel knowing that Jonny is the sexiest member of the discussion sofa, a.k.a. the conversation
discussion
couch?
Sofa?
Well, he can't cook like me. Huh? Holler at that.
No comment.
No comment.
Fee's mad.
Fee is mad.
I'm not mad.
She's a little upset inside.
No,
yeah.
I'm not.
She's a little upset inside. No big deal.
I
also want to know, I also wanted to thank you for everything you do. Your courage in covering this is so appreciated.
Thank you, Jackie.
We need you to know more than ever. Thank you, Jackie. Johnny, you got something?
Yeah, the one right below that oligarchy one. It's just Carrie Gale. Has Sad Bernie said anything?
I was trying to avoid that, John. I didn't want to piss off Fiorella.
He has said a bunch of stuff, actually.
Hot air.
I mean, it sounds great, but he's not doing anything.
Fucking hot air.
I mean, there's only so much you can do at this point. He's
already done enough.
He relinquished all his leverage.
Yeah, it's like I don't trust him anymore. It's like,
I mean, I think it's too far to
like,
say
if he came back and tried to be a leader and everything, I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust him.
I'm not following.
That's me personally. Personally, I don't trust him anymore.
Now Cornel West, I'll follow that man.
Yeah, like I think I trust Bernie to be like a good person. I think he's a good person. I just think he's done like politically leaning anything. I think people need to move past that. I see people still clinging on to hope he's gonna jump back in.
It's ridiculous, fam.
Why
are they doing that? Why? You know these people. I mean, seriously.
But it's because they put all their hopes in him. This is why I'm so against on having one freaking leader, because you can't do that. And then they kill him, and what?
Well, they smeared all the other leaders,
even if he did everything right, they would have killed him.
Yeah.
And then what we would have done.
There was a lot of people who were saying, and once again, now first of all, my favorite
put him
candidate,
in a Pope-mobile.
The Pope-mobile, yeah.
I wanted to,
but I mean, even still, when there were other people trying to come up to be like pseudo second tier leaders like the Tulsis, they were thrown away by that Bernie crowd anyways. So it's like they were Bernie or bust for real,
but it was
not depending on ideology or policy. A lot.
Not everybody.
Yeah, I don't want to.
A good amount. But a lot of I could say the same thing about the Tulsi supporters who were like Tulsi and literally hated Bernie just because.
Well, it's because Bernie didn't lead.
No, even before that, they literally hated him because they're right wingers and they saw him as a commie. There was a lot of that too. So
that was the 1/3 of the people that she brought in. Every single person that we knew that we associated with,
sure,
they were ready to get in the streets with Bernie. They were ex-burners before. They just thought that Tulsi was a little bit more nuanced about foreign policy and civil liberties, and that's the only reason why they were there. The people who did deny us access or reaching out and that used to hate on Tulsi, they were so stupid because they didn't understand why she was running. They didn't understand. Yeah. They thought she was doing it for selfish reasons. No, it was policies, which tells me that they don't want to accept people like me. In fact, one of them called me a Trump supporter the other day because I was talking about civil liberties and foreign policy meaning a lot of things. Yep. It's like, you're so stupid.
Because unfortunately, the right has taken a lot of that language, and so when you talk about it, they automatically assume that that's what you're talking about, and that's not the case.
That's a dumb assumption.
It is. It's really dumb.
We need to grow up and fucking learn how to govern and learn what's important. Like I said, we could build bridges. Johnny, what's the next one? Because this chat has got 30 people, and it's going up and down. I'm getting dizzy trying to follow it.
Anthony Chisholm, I want to see Bernie have a sit-down interview with Tara.
Ooh,
if he sits down with her and listens and doesn't rescind his support for Biden and jump back in it, would really prove Bernie as hollow as any other politician in more ways than many of us supporters assume. Think that would happen?
He's not coming back.
He's not going to speak to Tara Reid at all.
He's not.
Joe Biden is my friend, and we need to get rid of Trump. He's the worst president.
If you notice,
ever.
He's been pretty quiet. So
yeah, does he know that Black Lives Matter started when Obama and Biden were in office? Does he know that the police were so militarized because when Obama ended our presence in Iraq, he brought all those weapons and gave them to who? And sold them to who? The police department. That was Obama. That was Biden. Okay?
I think Bernie knows all of this.
But he doesn't care.
I still think he thinks Donald Trump is more dangerous than Biden. That's what he thinks. And there's nothing you can do to change that.
Next question. Adam Merchant. They let petty criminals go for coronas. Do you know about Jacobin Socialist Paraguay pre-Triple War? Mandatory interracial marriage to control family-based wealth/power.
I do not know about that. and I do look around a lot of foreign policy, but that is something I have not heard about. And I have to thank you for bringing that to our attention, and we will definitely take a look at that.
Interesting.
Thank you so much. The next question was, hold on. Johnny's the sexiest member. We know this. I got worried when you guys lost the live feed yesterday. I kept hunting for you guys. Listen, they were shutting down the feeds left and right. We couldn't tweet anything. We couldn't go live. We tried to move away. Johnny tried to zoom us in. It was just not happening yesterday. It was like they were almost jamming the feed.
Yep.
I really felt
bars.
that way.
I had five
bars,
bars, and I couldn't get online. So,
the next question I saw was Adam Merchant. What do you think of Adolf Reed's race anti-essentialism? This identity politics is just reactionary to white identity politics?
Yeah. So I read that. Basically, what I think is it's not either or, right? So I believe that the establishment co-ops identity politics for their own mechanisms. This is why we have people like Oprah, Barack Obama, the Beyonce, and all these people, Kanye West. They're elites, right? They're part of the elite system. They're black, but they're not really doing anything for working class black people. Working class black people and working class white people have far more in common together than they do with, say, Trump or, say, Obama. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's very easy to dismiss this as reactionary, like another establishment type of thing. But I actually think this needed to happen in order for us to get to the other side. Mm-hmm. Because if this didn't happen, this group would still feel marginalized. At least right now, people are showing solidarity. Now it's up to us to take it further. I don't think it's either or. I don't think that doing this is making neoliberalism be permanent. I think doing this is a first tiny step. And if we can take control and make it and connect it to, getting Medicare for all, getting stopping endless wars, getting election integrity, and we can put police brutality as one of our demands. A lot of people have been talking to me about, okay, we need to make a list of demands. This is what we need to do now. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know, but we need to connect it in that way. And that's how it becomes bigger, because we already have something there. If you're going to start trying to a movement from the bottom where you're just attacking the oligarchs, people are going to be freaked out. At least with this, people can start like understanding and getting the veils taken off their eyes. So I don't agree fully with Reed's analysis, because I feel like it's very nihilist and it's dismissive of the plight that is happening, even if it's obviously they're trying to co-opt it, even if some neoliberals and some Warren supporters and some of these people are supporting that. Okay, fine. But we know where our head's at. We know that we need to take it from here to there.
Something that's really happening again, it's always the easiest form of co-option, and the message they're trying to do. You don't like it, don't boo, then vote. And they're doing this right now. They're like, go out and vote.
Yeah, go out and vote instead of protesting.
And they're yelling about, Trump sucks, you need to go vote. They're not saying who to go vote for, because it's really hard to say go vote for Joe Biden, but they're kind of putting that subliminal message out there, like, you got to vote. You got to vote. I'm like, no, I'm talking about at these protests now. The one in Pasadena, even they were talking about the League of Women. They were like, vote. They're saying it on the radio. Vote. Like, we need to talk about fucking transparency. Yeah. People are not going to go out to vote. I remember one of the first questions when Johnny joined the group when he moved out here, and I said, Johnny, why don't your friends at college vote? He goes, they don't think their vote's going to be counted. If they don't think their vote's going to be counted, they're never going to go and fucking vote. And they're never going to sit in line for 8 hours to go vote. We need transparency.
Yeah, and a lot of people, Pasta, mentioned the Pasadena protest as being an entirely establishment, and they didn't like it.
Totally.
A lot of people. We notice this. The leftists, the real people who actually want change, whatever you want to call us, the anti-establishment people, mm-hmm. We notice this stuff. We're aware that the establishment is trying to co-opt it. Like in Pasadena, having all these elected officials there as if they've ever done anything. They think that by just coming out and saying, okay, we support BLM, that means something. It doesn't. We know. It's important that we continue speaking out about this so other people don't fall for it, because we know. But a lot of people that are just new and coming into this, they might not know. So that's why it's our job to educate them. However, that doesn't mean that I'm going to stomp on what's happening now and say that it's a waste of time. I don't think it's a waste of time. I think I have seen some accountability happen, but I think it needs to go further, and the only way it can go further is if we jump right into the general strike focus, which is making sure that all of the working people of this country are taken care of.
Guys, go down, hit the thumbs up, like it. I don't see anybody liking us. We need you to like it. We got 32 people hanging on out. Somebody asked how you got a shirt, right? What's his name?
Where do we get those shirts?
Well, you get the shirts when you endorse us. We'll send you a shirt. You know what I'm saying? All the people who showed off these shirts and got these shirts, these are old school people. That's a new name I'm seeing. Maybe you were an old school or on YouTube. Let us know who you are. What's his name?
Crumbs on my bed.
Crumbs on my bed. Yes, hit us up on the Convo Couch at gmail.com. Let us know your size. If you endorse us for $9.99, I'll send you a shirt right away. Sometimes we'll play a game. We'll give out a shirt.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll be the first one. The ROKFIN will get a shirt. We
Yeah.
do all types of things to get people shirts or give people a chance to get shirts. We just don't give them out like candy. You got to do a little something for us. And if you can afford to endorse us for $9.99 a month, you get all the premium ad-free content on ROKFIN free.
Or just
Sorry,
be a Patreon member, because we always need to build up our Patreon. It helps.
Okay, so Dolores says, can you invite Tim Pool to be on with you during your live?
Oh, listen, I would love to have Tim Pool on. I know Fan would like to have another white guy, libertarian-minded. What's the other word I'm looking for? Well, I think Tim Pool is bad on China. I'd like to talk to him about China if he comes on, because I don't think he has a good opinion on that. But Tim Pool has got some interesting things to say. I'd love to have him on here, and talk about a lot of things, fam. I think you might enjoy some conversations with him too as well. So, he's been on Jimmy before, so,
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it.
I'm going to try and run through a couple of these.
Go ahead, buddy.
Pidgeman says, because every time a corporation fires somebody for being racist, they spend time and money advertising the fact that they just did that. They don't do the same thing every time the corporation, actually does something racist. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Jesse Caduro.
Mm-hmm.
Papas a la huancaína or pasta carbonara?
Pasta carbonara.
Papa la huancaína.
Yeah, that.
Pasta carbonara.
Papa la huancaína. Because
Carbonara was my
carbonara,
Alfredo.
I used to like it, but I
it's
don't
the
eat
best.
bacon or ham or anything,
pancetta?
so I can't have
Shit,
that.
no, that sounds really good.
No, you sweat the pancetta.
How
the
about
pasta
both on the
soaks
same
that.
plate? How about that?
Let's do it. What's the other one?
It's what Americans call the yellow sauce. It's this really good yellow sauce with potatoes.
Carbonara.
It's like a cheesy yellow crackers.
The Papa la huancaína, the other one.
Papa la huancaína.
That's what carbonara is a
No.
cheesy
It's
yellow
Peruvian,
sauce.
It's a Peruvian
different.
dish.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I'm saying that it's very similar then. If it's a yellow sauce, because carbonara is made from egg yolks, Parmesan cheese,
It
pancetta.
comes off more whitish.
No, carbonara is usually yellow. Yellow.
I've never had yellow carbonara.
Fam, what does that look like to you? What color? Johnny, show
It's
her.
like creamy, not yellow.
See, I asked my dad, when I was young, I'm like, why don't we ever have fettuccine Alfredo? And he's like, fettuccine Alfredo? My dad literally told me, we invented that for the wasp in the restaurant. We're Italian. We have carbonara.
I have
And he made it for me, and it was like my best dish ever. Love it.
Okay.
Alfredo's better.
You know, Jackson Facts has shirts now. Check up Jackson Facts. If you haven't checked out Jackson Facts, you don't know what you're missing,
Jackson
man.
Facts has a shirt?
Jackson Facts has Jackson, we want some shirts. I want a nice XL Jackson Facts shirts. He's probably got that beautiful Jackson Facts colors, that
like
green, that
like
yellow, that
I like
purple.
those colors, yeah, I
We
like
love
those colors.
Jackson Facts. Good job, Fee. Thanks, Facts, Jackson. I'm just chop liver over here.
To Jossie, R says, I agree with you. We need multiple leaders. Who are the leaders in this protest? If we can't name 5 to 6, I assure you will be talking about the next police killing 1 month later and the next protest 2 months later. Leaders help put pressure and inspire. Individuals are chaotic. I agree.
I mean, right now, I'm
for
seeing Melina Abdullah be one of the leaders.
Yeah, Melina Abdullah.
For sure, 100%.
She seems like the leader of that movement, of the Black Lives Matter movement.
In
but we
Los
need an
Angeles.
overall leader, you know what I'm
In
saying?
Los
And,
Angeles.
you know?
Someone with national recognition.
Cornel West or
Cornel
Reverend
West,
Barber, like the only two that I would
Barber.
think of that I would follow.
Cornel
you know,
West.
A lot of people are looking to
Jesse
what Nina
Ventura,
is
that's it.
saying.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about Black Lives Matter right now.
Yeah.
Carrie Mark says, some of us can't admit that we were wrong about Bernie and Tulsi.
I don't think as much as we were wrong, as much as like
They failed us.
Yeah, we expected them to do more than they did. We expected them to take on the establishment full on because we were looking for a revolution, and they're trying to reform the party.
Yeah.
They're reformists. They're not, they're not there to like be a revolutionary.
Where's John's thing? Bring it up. Reforming it from the inside.
In a way, I blame myself for
and
my
expectations.
expectations.
How smart that is to do, especially the Democratic Party, like. because the Democratic Party is basically like a mafia, right?
Yep.
If you don't like the mafia, why don't you just join it and change it from the inside?
Yeah, sure, pal. Love it. Great meme.
I mean,
It's
Great
so true,
meme.
dude.
We
'cause
were
it's
all-
a,
we
it's a
were all-
legit mafia.
I told somebody that I'd prefer the mafia over the Democrats and the Republicans at this point. I think the mob will have some loyalty and
You know what the difference?
pasta.
You want to know the difference between the mafia and the Democratic establishment? You can reason with the mafia. That's the difference.
You can reason with them through food and
Jesus
favors,
Christ.
and marrying off your daughter and all that.
People say Jimmy Dore for president.
Yeah, why not?
Oh man, we
Why
have
not?
a lot of alcohol and weed. I'll tell you that much.
Jimmy Dore, Chris Hedges. Have you guys ever seen that Family Guy episode where Brian turns conservative with the help of Presidential Medal awardee Rush Limpdick?
I didn't see
I think
that
I have.
one.
It's been a long
I
time
didn't
though.
see that one. Somebody was talking about that one. That's it used to be my show, fam.
I used
I
to
just
love
that
a
show.
lot.
Pasta reminds me of Peter. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. It's the accent. The annoying
What do you guys
accent.
think are the chances that Jesse Ventura will run, get to the debates, and double chokeslam Donald Trump and Joe Biden through flaming tables before doing an elbow drop on Wolf Blitzer's chest?
That'd be
That's
amazing.
Pishman. That's got to be a Pishman
That is
statement.
Pishman.
It totally. I didn't even see it, but I knew that was a Pishman statement. Pishman, we're talking closely to people close to Jesse Ventura. It doesn't
There's
look like
so
it's going to
much
happen.
crap going on in that party right now.
The Green
It's
Party is just fucking.
It's just awful right now, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's like no candidate. Like there's a couple of good ones, but they're not gonna get like the
Nothing,
lead.
nothing.
So
I might even end up voting for Howie Hawkins, and despite all the bullshit that's going on with that party, or the Libertarian candidate. I don't know. I'm going to vote third party
Well,
for sure.
there is a
but-
Socialist Party, right?
What's
Yeah.
that?
There's a Socialist Party. We
There's
haven't really looked into
Freedom
it.
and Peace and Freedom Party.
It's
and,
peace and freedom, and then there's Socialist Party, but I think we need to build like other things that are already out there. If you are of the socialist denomination, you should join Socialist Alternative over
you.
DSA. Over DSA. DSA tends to get co-opted.
Yeah, well, a lot of these groups get co-opted on the left,
Socialist
especially.
Alternative, guess
Yeah.
who's part of that? Kachama Sawant. And to
Yeah.
me, she is a politician
She's
to
the
look
best.
at right
She's
now.
one of the
She's
best.
local,
Yep.
but she can really do a lot locally. So-
You know what? If Kashama Sawant wants to run in 2024, I'll be her running mate.
Oh,
I won't do it for anybody else. But for you,
oh
Kashama,
my God.
you got me. I'll go get the Libertarians. You go get the Socialists. We'll bring them together, baby.
Philip Morrison says, "How about making a pact to vote third party up and down ballot?" Of
said I
course,
would.
Of course, cutouts could be made for Jen Perlman,
Exactly.
Shahid Buttar, etc.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maria Estrada,
Be down
Angela
with that.
Duenas.
Yeah.
It just takes
Yeah.
somebody to create
Yeah.
something and then
Yeah.
ship it
Dude,
out.
I'm there for you. You know what I'm saying? And
Jackson
that's the whole
Facts.
thing. Like right now, I went at David Spurrier, the radical independent, and I told him, like, stop propping up and excusing the Green Party for their dysfunction. Okay, they need to get their shit together, right? How many followers does Howie Hawkins have on Twitter? How many total votes did he get? That's not on us. Don't try to put it on us. They need to get their shit together. And even though I'm going to vote third party, let's be for real over here.
If I don't like a candidate, I'm not voting.
Yeah.
So win me over,
Carrie
folks.
Mark says, "What's your favorite sushi?"
Albacore.
Oh, I really like yellowtail sashimi.
Yellowtail's good.
With like a ponzu sauce and jalapeno on top. I'm very specific.
I like my sugarfish.
I go basic
Oh
California roll. Okay.
Oh my God.
That's fake sushi. But he loves it.
Adam Merchant says, "Would you have Angela Davis on? She is based as
I
fuck."
love Angela Davis.
Who is she?
She is a civil rights activist. She's black. I think she's probably one of the people that I could see leading.
Yeah, yeah.
She definitely was, alive during the civil rights movement as well as the women's movement back in
Oh
that
shit,
time.
that was Angela Davis.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was in the RFK documentary with Netflix, and wow,
That's the one.
She spoke, and she had a way with
She's
her
amazing.
words. Like that was
She's great.
That was
She's
crazy.
amazing.
Like,
She's amazing.
She's
that
great.
takes real
Who did
talent.
she
right
endorse
there.
though? In the last, didn't she endorse like Warren or something? Or was that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if she endorsed anybody.
Favorite type of fish?
Albacore. Oh.
Jesus.
I love that albacore.
Like you do.
But I love salmon. I love having that sockeye salmon with the mustard sauce, like a whole grain mustard sauce, or that teriyaki sauce I made you. Let's not teriyaki. It's like oyster sauce, soy, ginger, garlic, a little honey glaze. Remember when I made that for you, that beautiful sockeye salmon?
No, fam. I'm
Thanks,
sorry.
Jasmine.
My favorite fish is like hard because I love all kinds of fish, but I like trout and I like yellowtail. I like really white fish, like sole.
Oh, sorry.
Like
That's rice.
I know. When you said I like really white, I looked in there. Fish.
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 I like ahi. Love ahi too.
Yeah, I like tuna.
Yeah.
Tuna and salmon. Okay. Who's the man behind the mic? Such a sexy voice. That's me.
Pasta Jardula.
Johnny getting all the.
Damn. Who asked that question, John?
What's that Pishman again?
See, dude, Ron got you going. You had that picture of you with the cops right in front of you. Like, that was
Getting
it. After
arrested,
all the
I
ladies,
know.
like, what's going on?
Getting arrested.
Freshwater eel.
Thanks for taking all our questions. Let's see. Fam, what's the difference between Assad and Trump? Glory Jones, hint. One doesn't gas their own people, and that's not Trump.
Glory.
Wow.
Fred, stop kissing Fiorella's butt again. Is Pasta going to let Fiorella talk a little? Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always got those people that like go after Fee or support Fee. It's either one or the other. The other day she was going at it with some people. Pretty hardcore, whatnot. Where's Deep Space? Why isn't Deep Space over here to cause problems? That's all he does is cause problems over there. I love it. Just sit back and watch him stir up shit. But, you know.
Glory, hurry up and get here so we can
Glory,
go.
where the hell are you, man? Matt
right,
Mitt says monkfish, grouper, and rockfish.
Let me take a look over at YouTube, see if there's any super chats.
Right,
we
got
will
some
do
super
super chats if we.
If we got a
got
couple. Jesse also says they're already grooming Pete Buttigieg for 2024.
Of
We need
course
to
they
stop
are.
that. Of course, the CIA asked it.
course.
Why not?
They want, I mean, more CIA infiltrators ran in this past primary than ever before.
So on YouTube, we just have a little preview of what you can see, and we're not answering any questions except for super chats. So Tiberius Monk 84 says, I'm pissed off at what's going on, but I'm proud that across society we are protesting to protect our right to live and respect George Floyd. Pasta and Fiorella are some bad mofos. Hashtag Convo Love.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He also said, second super chat, I'm disappointed in Bernie's failed campaign and lack of leadership in this crisis. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with Fiorella. I'm not feeling seeking leaders in Congress.
Yeah, I mean, look, AOC and the squad, I mean, I don't think they're terrible. I mean, I think the squad isn't as bad as AOC, to be honest. I think she's very much about herself. And this is coming from people who were very supportive of her, who literally fundraised for her, who went to all these events for her.
She didn't call us back, fam.
Yeah.
We were covering her way before she was AOC, right?
Yeah.
We connections,
I mean, I saw her
and she took pictures
in 2017.
with me, and please. But as soon as she became who she was,
yeah,
fuck everybody else. She never even went back on Jimmy. So
yeah.
stupid. Jimmy's the one who put her on the radar for all the progressives, and yet she just.
Yeah, and so this is why he says you don't let me talk, fam, because you get all mad. But like, I just think that if we're gonna focus on getting Democrats elected to Congress, get Democrats elected to Congress. We're going to challenge Nancy Pelosi. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. Nancy Pelosi is a gatekeeper here, and if you take down the queen, you can beat the game. And if we take her down, I think we could get a lot. So I mean, here, that's the thing. This is why I think Shahid would be good. Yeah, again, it's they're gonna insert whoever else, but I mean, I think it's a matter of the type of people who get in there can't look at their reelection as being more important than the people. Because if you have the people behind you, believe me, we would all show up and protest in DC. AOC has that kind of bandwidth that she could have used to get people to rally behind her causes, but it's more important for her to get to the next level in her career and be okay with Mama Bear Pelosi than it is to actually enact change. And so again, I'm not going to waste my time electing people that aren't really like hardcore going to be fighters like I am.
Yeah,
it's a waste of time.
Rodolfo, he was the first one who said it. His biggest beef was her going out and letting push Nancy Pelosi to be the Speaker of the House. We put her there to fight against the establishment.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. Preferred way to smoke the ganja. Deadhead 83.
Blunt for me, but
I love blunts
we love blunts.
Mine has always been a gravity bong, and I miss it. And I'm gonna make one because it's a blunt, and I think it just. You waste so much weed. I don't like wasting weed.
Oh, my God. Wasting weed, my ass.
It is.
Uphill Media says, hey, Pasta, when you're going to having a cook-off? Sunday gravy is great, but Oz will take you on, buddy. Is Oz going to do a vegetarian one, or is he going to do a straight-up meat one? I mean, I got to know the rules.
Jackson Facts, please scold Pasta right now, because seriously?
Look at Pishman, what he says. Such an asshole. I love you.
To Joss... man, I can't say your name. To Josui. Just curious, what does it take for 10,000 people to sit silently on the streets for 10 days straight? Do you think nonviolent and silent protests at scale are outdated? I don't think so. I think that would be super powerful.
It's Gandhi shit. That's
I think
Gandhi shit right there.
they would still shoot at people because I've seen it happen. I've seen people kneel. I've seen people put their hands up and they still get shot at. So again, I'm the kind of person that I'm at the point where violence hasn't, or nonviolence hasn't it hasn't really worked in the sense of what is considered violence. It's okay when the government does it, but it's all of a sudden violence when the poor people do it, when the oppressed people do it. Think about it this way. They gaslight you into thinking that any sort of protesting is automatically violent, when that is your innate right as an American. It's in the Constitution. And as people who respect the Constitution, the constitutionalists should really, really be loving the First Amendment. They should really be loving peaceful assembly to protest, all of these things.
Wow, that girl on YouTube got some government money, so she just sent us a super chat. That was a very nice donation. Really appreciate that. We're gonna put that into power. We're gonna put that into power. Go on the streets.
Does she have a shirt?
We're buying new equipment.
We need to send that girl a shirt.
Email us and we'll send you a shirt.
Email us your size.
The Convo Couch at gmail.com.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah.
What up, that girl?
Fred Edwards says, Fee at least sees my tweets, Pasta.
I'm not on Twitter as much as her. This is not even fair. And Glory and Pijman, you guys are turning on me now?
Glory says I'd sent for Fee.
Oh, yeah. And Pijman's like, she's like, I'm getting exposed.
And then,
Fred Edwards.
And then Glory said, get exposed, Pasta. You never see my tweets either.
You guys suck. I hate you guys and stuff. I love you, though. Really, I really love you guys all and stuff. And Jackson Fax, I hope you're in my court over there. I'll take an extra large shirt.
If you stop eating meat for a week, maybe.
Oh, my God. Jackson Fax, I'll do a Sunday gravy meatless for you, a video. Because people are saying they want some cooking videos, so I got to get back out there for the cooking videos.
Jesse Calduro says Sagar is a bootlicker.
Yes,
His take on Rising was horrible regarding the police abuses throughout the nation.
I know what he's talking about.
I believe it. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it, but I've been hearing. So what did he say?
Just watch it. He just kind of justifies. He goes after once again and kind of signals out, people attacking their own community, hurting themselves. Kind of like the same take as almost Peter Lavelle had it. And like when Peter Lavelle said it too, it's like, these aren't protests, these are riots. And I immediately called up Soraya. I'm like, Soraya, get me in touch with the producer. I want to get on there. I have to set Peter straight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think when it comes from me, once again, like where I stand on certain situations. If I'm saying this right now and I'm sticking up, like this is real. I'm not making it up. These are protests, peaceful protests that only turn violent when the cops step out of line, or if there's some stupid rogue group of fucking hipsters, or a lot of people. We talk about the looting. Why is the looting okay for the $5 trillion from the elites, but the looting of these freaking Walmarts and Targets are the ones that are super paid attention to by the media? Super hyped.
I mean, I just go back to Sager and Peter Lavelle and every other person, put yourself on the front lines, go to the protests, do your little media thing, talk to the protesters, get right in front of a cop's face.
Yes.
And if he doesn't, and if he shoots you, then I want to see you have the same opinion.
Say the same thing.
Yeah, I dare you, because you know what? If you're not putting yourself out there, then I'm sorry, you're being very elitist and privileged in your take, because you're talking without knowing, and it's really easy to find a protest anywhere and literally go to it. So I encourage that.
Somebody's saying we love you, Pasta. They're coming back. They're showing me some love. They saw my face. I got hurt, fam. I got emotional. And Glory Jones says, we all love you, Pasta, but the whitest man on the Convo Couch, we got to poke fun at you. LOL. I get it, baby. I love it. And Fred Edwards says, just busting chops.
It's about time he feels like the rest of us feel most of the time.
Carrie Mark talks about he's a bootleg. Tucker, another one, the same one when it comes to certain issues.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And Pishman and I were talking. When you talk about Tucker, like it's that mental, that libertarian. It's fiscally conservative. Why we shouldn't go and invade and start imperialism in other countries. Well, it's different than us. We're like, what I'm saying. We don't want babies being bombed. That's our main reason. But however, if the reasons to end empire are different, it's still a reason to end empire. Let's end empire.
Philip Morrison says, I know they aren't fielding candidates for 2020, but what do you think of the movement for a People's Party? Is it a show me the candidate issue? We just had him on, Nick Brana.
Yeah, check it out. We just had Nick Brana on. We asked him a few questions. I'm about it. I'm just hesitant to put a lot of effort on something that I really need to see like the attempt to make it a legitimate party, because we already have so much disorganization in the parties right now.
I did see that Tim Canova, Jimmy Dore, Steph Samarano, they all endorsed
Cindy
the party.
Sheehan. Cindy Sheehan. She was one of the first to protest against the Iraq war, John.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her son. She was out in front of the White House. She was there for many days. She took a lot of shit from the Fox News people like Sean Hannity and all those guys who were attacking her left and right, the Rush Limbaughs and the Bill O'Reillys then and stuff. And she was one of the first people I saw to go out and support the people for the movement for a People's Party. And it's really, the whole thing about it is we all do research in different ways. We know about a movement for the People's Party for a long, long time, way before John even joined the group. And John was kind of looking over their webpage, which is really important because they explain their platform and the way they do things. So we're still taking a lot in. I'm going to dive into that webpage. I never really dived into it too much. I've always looked at their endorsements. I would peek at their platform, but I think there's a lot more research the way they do things. And I was even liked it when I asked Nick Brana, do you have veto power or any of these things? He's like, no, I got one vote.
Yeah, I mean, as long as my issue with parties is that they tend to have, we see it with the Green Party. Somebody becomes the totalitarian type of leader and nothing gets done if they don't want it. And like, I'm very hesitant about that. Yeah. That's why I tend to be more anarchist. Yeah. And he did answer the question pretty well in terms of that. I think we should look it over, see what they have to offer, give it a shot. I mean, it's been 4 years and nothing really has come out of it, which is another one of my things. But I also think like the time is ripe for maybe.
Yeah. Well, they still haven't made their first move on how they're going to attack. Are they going to spread out with multiple candidates, or are they going to concentrate in certain areas? Yeah. They have committees, they have leaders of committees, they have people involved. We asked everything from, hey, who's your financial advisor? Who's your foreign policy advisor? They're still a work in progress, but I think they're in the right way. And knowing where Nick Brana came from, he was able to kind of, what really impressed me most about Nick is when he had a chance to go after Bernie Sanders, he was really pretty nice about it. He really didn't go for the jugular or was mean about it. He just felt like he didn't have the political will, and it was a shame to see what happened. That's something I liked about Nick Brana, because he wasn't Jimmy Dore about it, where Jimmy Dore goes, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that showed class, and I like Nick Brana, but once again, we'll see what this group does, what this movement for the People Party can do. Well, it remains to be seen, but right now, I'm on board. We'll see. Johnny, anything else? We're at 73 minutes. I think it's time to get out of here.
Yeah, I think it's time. Wow, that girl. Again, the same donation. Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
Well, that girl, we're going to have a private stream just for you. We'll answer all your super chat.
Gonna have a private stream.
Pasta will send you some pasta.
Yes, I will send you recipes. I'll make you your own personal video.
You know what?
Cooking. Tell me what you want me to make you.
And send the
Here's
pasta.
an idea. We're gonna make our own pasta. It's shaped in the Convo Couch.
Oh my god.
Oh
my god.
A sofa.
In a couch.
And
little
pasta
sofas.
face.
You want couch pasta, you guys?
Yes.
No, tell that girl whatever you want me to make you. My next cooking video, I'll make what you want me to make you. You tell me what you like, and I'll do it for you.
Can it be, please, like gluten-free or like veggie-made, lentil-made pasta that's not like carbohydrates?
No, go for the meat, potatoes. Whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for following us. If you have a few bucks to endorse us on our ROKFIN tier right here on this platform for $9.99 a month, you get all the premium content across the board on ROKFIN, and it is advertisement free.
It is.
And, we had some pretty good content. I mean, I did this whole production for the trivia, and those were really fun and funny to watch.
Yeah, Gloria Jones and I won several
times. You know that, and that's, you want to talk about something just really to close out. We talk about the Green Party and everything like that. That format was originally worked upon by John when I came to him and say, John, I think we're going to get these debates for the Green Party. But guess what? They're so fucking dysfunctional. They were all on different pages. And we just did all this homework and all this research for nothing. So that's why I've been a little hesitant to even talk about what's going on right now. I know some members have once again reached out again. They want to tell us more stories about the lies and the dysfunction.
Because Nico had a video about Howie Hawkins, and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know this was that bad. I need to go and
it's one thing after the other right there with the party, and I hope that I love Kevin Zeese. I hope that he continues to come back on with us. The only reason why I had Kevin Zeese on is because I thought he would be the best. Yeah, he's amazing in foreign policy, embassy protector. But I thought he would be the best person to explain where the Hawkins campaign is coming from. You know, and once again, Nico might have been turned off with the fact that he said that, you know, the other candidates aren't serious. But the way Kevin framed it, he's like, listen, you need to get 100 signatures from Greens. It's easier to run for a Green as president it is than to run for some city council seats. So they have to pick themselves up by their own bootstraps as far as being a candidate for president. I mean to use that word, but they have to do that themselves.
Typical
to
white
be a
male.
presidential candidate.
No, I
candidate.
agree with you. I mean, it's minimum effort.
So I mean, once again, we're not on the same page. I kind of agree with Kevin. If you want to be a serious candidate, show me you're a serious candidate. So
yeah, all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I'm Pasta Jardula.
I'm Fiorella.
Jonny Sue is spitting on those ones and
Bye.
twos. Combo out.
Combo out.
Why did I say your line?
You do that. See,
I'm sorry.
speaking
My bad.
over
You're
me
right, Fred. I'm
again.
bad.
I mean, it's just terrible.
Terrible.
Fucking typical white man.
Wait, you're still on there.